Hey, how's it going? It's Grant
And Shelby.
with the Garden of Eder, and today we're going to be talking about the crash of the Caridina market, why it's failing, why it's going down. Sales for the last few years have been getting worse and worse, and that's not just for us. This is for several other breeders and sellers that I'm talking with. This is running the shrimp contest for so many years, and if you look about half or more than that of the entries from like just 2 years ago are not even in the hobby anymore. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what we can do about it. Um, but this has been an ongoing thing for quite some time, and I felt like it'd make for a good live stream topic to talk about. So, how's it going, Dr. Anthony? How you doing? Toop Dog, how you doing, Toop? And Larry D. Nice of you guys to join us tonight. Hope you're all doing well.
Two folks, I have noticed this as well. Where have all the shrimpers gone?
The Neocaridina market booming, still really going strong. There's a bunch of people that I talk with who are selling to their local fish store. There's a lot of stores that we are working with personally, but there's stores that we used to work with who now have local breeders there that are offering them shrimp without having us to ship them over and stuff like that. So Neocaridina breeders, they're quite abundant. But when it comes to Caridina, quite a lot of them have gotten out of the hobby. And I want to start off with the main number one reason why the Caridina market crashed the way it crashed. But first, let's say hi to Kelly and Scuba Steve. How you guys doing? And Jonathan G. I almost missed you. How you guys doing? So the Neocaridina market, the Caridina market, when we first got into the hobby, was insane. You could post everything that you had available on like a Sunday, it'd be sold that night, and you could ship everything out on a Monday, and then Tuesday do your water changes, and then the rest of the week you could do research and figure out how to crossbreed pintos and all this other stuff with your spare time in between water changes. But now sales are not that easy. You can't sell your entire livestock off as just a normal breeder. Even with all the social media that we have, sales are not quite what you would have expected them to be when we first got into the hobby. As scaled up as we are, if I could transport this 10 years ago, we'd be killing it. It would be an insane amount of money. A lot of the shrimp have declined in price. Not really the Neocaridina, but mainly the Caridina. And so in my talk, two of the shrimp, the Caridina, that are like kind of holding up price still are orange-eyed blue tigers and blue bolts. But even still, you can still find really, really cheap blue bolts through imports. But the homebred side, you definitely get about the same price for blue bolts that you did, 10 years ago when I was first in the hobby. So everything else come down drastically in price. Yellow King Kongs is like my best example. When they first hit the market, I was kind of like, oh man, I'm not flaky on them. I was a skeptic. I didn't think that they were even Caridina. I was like, somebody's just renaming Neocaridina and getting them out on the market that are just bred in Caridina parameters. But eventually, people were buying them here in the United States for about $100 a piece, and then they got a hold of them and were able to breed them really easily. And then they started, competing with one another and selling them for $50 a piece. And then the importers started competing with them and undercutting them and started going down to 25, then 10, then 5, and now you can get them for as cheap as $3 a piece today. And there's not even really many Caridina breeders out there. They're just so easy to breed, they breed so true, that they're just so cheap. So the price has gone from $100 down to $3 a shrimp. So there's a lot of shrimp that have done that. Galaxy pintos, boas, um, purple metallics, a lot of the orange-eyed morphs and stuff like that. You can get them so cheap now that for a lot of people, it's not really worth putting together the setup and breeding them and everything like that. So, how's it going, Izzy? The need for new lines. Yeah, new lines are coming out, and they're, definitely a market for them overseas in Europe and Asia. But over here, the new lines, I'll talk about more of like the collectors and whatnot, but there's very few and far between people who are going to want to spend the money on those, for the breeders to get their money out of it. So a lot of what's over here on the market is like the bottom of the line, the bottom of the totem pole, for the Asian breeders, and then they sell them, for as much money as they can over here in the United States. And it's still not that much money because you've got so many different farms competing for the U.S. market that imported Caridina prices they've plummeted. I see some prices advertised on Facebook, and I'm like, Shelby, can you believe these shrimp are $7 a piece or $9 a piece now? When before, like, we've considered paying hundreds of dollars for these shrimp. So I think when we first got in the hobby, the appeal of selling shrimp like that was doable, and then quickly, like the fancy red tigers that we got for $200 a piece, the next year they were worth like $15, and that grade was worth maybe $6 or $8 a piece to other breeders and whatnot overseas. So the U.S. market usually gets bad genetics, cheap lines, and sold for very, very low price to the wholesalers and the flippers, and then they're competing with one another. So it's just cutthroat market. But once upon a time, we used to be able to sell them all on Facebook. So the real killer for the Caridina breeding crash, the market crash as a whole, is definitely going to be the Facebook ban of live animals. Now, that really didn't have anything to do with shrimp. It was more with people that were, trying to find good homes for their guinea pigs and rabbits, and then they were, messaging the people, hey, could we get, an update photo of their animal? And it's Facebook, and these people know that they're not going to get another free animal, and they're just like, oh, I fed it to my snake, here's your guinea pig. And it became a big issue on Facebook. It became a big issue, and instead of them trying to limit and oh man, what's the word I'm looking for? The same thing with FWC. They can't determine who's breeding and who's collecting, so they just ban it because they don't have enough manpower to cover everything to double check. And
it's the one bad person makes everyone else have to suffer for it.
So almost immediately, the market for 2 months for the shrimp, everything aquatics wise, was pretty bad and pretty poor off. There was a rush to the band app, and a lot of people were competing, and there wasn't as many buyers that rushed to that market as there was, or sellers as there was buyers. So it was a bunch of people competing against each other. And I always say the band app is really where people just go to retire their fish rooms or their business overall. They're just dumping stock for way cheaper than what it would go maybe on Aquabid or what they were advertising and selling it on Facebook. So the prices of so many shrimp just plummeted. Galaxy pintos and boas are probably what took the biggest hit during that whole banned pioneer, everybody moving over to it. If Facebook never banned live animal sales, I think the Caridina market would still be booming because there would still be a lot of people that are like, hey, I'm able to sell this. And there's so many more buyers on Facebook than there is sellers when it comes to breeding and just livestock in general. And until you get another platform that's like Facebook, where you have groups that are able to produce images and what they're doing in their hobby and share with one another and cooperate and improve on things and sell all in the same platform, all in the same feed. Until that happens again, I don't think that Caridina shrimp are going to be anywhere what they once were. And you also need that platform to be as big of an animal as Facebook is. So, like, I don't know if there's a shrimp scene on Twitter that I'm missing out on, but I don't think Twitter or X is ever like as big as the communities of the shrimp keeping are. Maybe I'm missing something on Reddit, but we've gone there a couple of times, and it just doesn't seem like there's anything compared to the old USA freshwater shrimp groups. Uh, they're the amount of information you could just search anything you wanted on that Facebook group, and it would bring up multiple posts of that topic. You'd have good reviews and bad reviews if you're looking up companies or different breeders. And now when you search stuff on Facebook through Meta and stuff, you can't even find half the posts that you're looking for. Like, it is so unbearable now to try and use Facebook as a source of information. Sadly, the shrimp spot, that form is gone, and I don't know anybody that has any hype or potential to rebuild that. But I also don't think that the people would go back to that kind of source of information anymore. I think YouTube is pretty much going to be it. You've got TikTok and you've got Instagram and Facebook still for sources of information, but there's so much wrong information on those platforms at the same time. So it's kind of you miss out on that community that would band together and be like, hey, you have to do this, or else you're going to end up like this or this or this, and you'd be able to tag a bunch of posts behind it. So for the most part, Facebook banning live animals did in a lot of hobbies, but the Caridina shrimp hobby the most. So at one point, you definitely had too many breeders and not enough buyers. But now it's still, you could have a few breeders and you're not going to have enough buyers for how much shrimp just a couple of us can produce. So Band is an app, downloaded on the App Store. There's a bunch of like local groups for all different aquatics. Like our Pasco Aquatic Club has a Band group that they use to sell live animals and stuff, since it's not allowed in Facebook. Many other clubs that I speak for, I'll post my livestock on their Band app. They do pre-sales and stuff. For clubs that are using it actively with one another, it seems to work out the best. But when just an individual tries to build up their own Band group, it doesn't seem to do very well, and their shrimp are usually bottom price, and they're not like known to be like a big breeder. Maybe some of the home breeders that are not doing it for profit at all, just kind of using it for side profit, are able to get by. But that dream of like making good amount of money off of shrimp and really paying for your hobby, not just your food, but like the electric bill, the water bill, buying new plants and other things. Like the shrimp hobby used to be like, I'm going to sell all my red cherries this week, and I'm going to buy that new boost that just came in next week because that's the new thing, and everybody's going to put it in their tanks and show it off. You just don't get that anymore. But yeah, it's so easy to breed out hundreds of Caridina shrimp of one variety, and then if one person is doing that, they're going to be able to meet the market for just about all the people keeping Caridina shrimp. Because I'll go over some of the other reasons, like collectors and stuff, but a lot of them already have the shrimp. You're competing with importers who are undercutting the prices and all that other stuff, but the amount of people buying Caridina shrimp these days are few and far between. I used to get people asking for random shrimp that we have, different grades of galaxy shrimp. Used to be like a common thing every week. I can't remember the last time where somebody asked me if I had that grade or variety of Galaxy Pinto available in stock. It's been months. All right, so dude, Facebook does not care about animal sales anymore. I say we try again. I 100% agree that Facebook itself does not have the manpower to go through and scour all of our posts. And even with AI, there's ways around it to be able to sell live animals and whatnot. But the problem is there were so many people in the shrimp community, especially, that were cutthroat. And if anybody tried, their pages would get banned. And it wasn't because Facebook did it. It was because individuals were reporting, and there was people that had several different Facebook accounts, so they can mass report and get people banned, temporarily banned for so many days. And those people were like, I can't sell anywhere else. I keep getting banned on Facebook, and they left the hobby and they're out of it entirely. Eventually, Facebook realized what was happening to a lot of businesses, and they made it to where you're allowed to do live sales on businesses. But there's so many groups, and it's convincing the groups that they need to allow the live animals, because the groups were also getting banned and reported. And then you have, people who had, 30,000 people in their group, and now their, whole group is gone. And it used to mean something when there was the information available. But now there's too many people in those groups who are selling. Like, they'll reach out to me and they'll be like, hey, I'll let you post like sales and live animal posts in my group, but you have to pay me $25 a month. And I'm like, it's just not worth me possibly getting banned, or paying you $25 a month at the end of the year. That's over $250. That's $300 a year. So I told a couple people no, and then they got all mad and banned me from the group entirely because I didn't want to pay their fee. So yeah, the coral industry was beautiful. The fact that corals are an actual animal and are not allowed to be sold on Facebook, yet all of the coral groups held strong. They stuck together. Nobody reported. Everybody was like, let them all pretend like we're still plants because you can sell plants. And they all worked together. Nobody, reported anybody. But there was a couple of my good friends that were constantly getting reported for all of their posts that they had in the past. They were getting reported and rebanned and flagged. So if you didn't go back and delete all of your old sales posts, you were at risk for getting banned. So Facebook is definitely an option to rebuild things, but it's it's so much more work than it would be to properly do things on YouTube. So and I'll get to that more as well.
So, yeah, because they were doing decorations. Shelley, you were
Yeah.
welcome in. Yeah, I do. Unfortunately, I disagree because I do think AI does catch a lot of it. Just because every single time we post something on YouTube, now obviously Facebook and YouTube are different, but if YouTube's catching it, Facebook is Meta. Like it is, the same thing. They're able to catch it too. Uh, but every time you post something about selling shrimp or our website or something, even along the lines of selling or
No.
these,
I
they
just
have flagged it as a selling post.
I
We
think
don't get it
there's
taken down, but it definitely gets nerfed.
I think there's ways around it though. Like if you not the whole rehoning thing, but along those lines where you named it something else. Like you could get away with it, and that's what I'm saying is Facebook doesn't have the manpower to outsmart us if we would just work together like that. Like I tried to
But
suggest
that's the problem.
because I played too much RuneScape as a kid. I was like, you don't put selling, you put WTS, which means want to sell, and then whatever you're selling. And you know what I mean? You could even just post a picture and then
you have those Facebook officers.
I know, but if
Spend
there
all day. How
wasn't
dare
the
you.
Facebook officers and all the people competing, you could put WTS watermarks in your pictures, and then people would know that it's for sale. Like there was a way around it, and I couldn't get any of the other big names to work with me to try and get it because I don't think there's much of a business in Caridina and having all of these aquariums if I'm the only one. As good as that sounds, as nice as it is, I want as many people trying to breed a specific type of Caridina that is known for that one, that type, like the Bloomfields for Calcios. And then we used to have Robert Harvey Jack. I can't remember his name, but Robert used to be known for his blue bolts, and then you had other people that were known for different varieties of shrimp, and you just don't have that anymore. And if we could build up that kind of demand, then you get those people that are like, hey, here's this shrimp. I got you involved, and this person was like, well, I want this type of shrimp, and they're like, I don't have it. I only have these. Now you got to go catch it from this person, or the whole Pokemon got to catch them all theory. It works a lot better the more Pokemon breeders and battlers and people out there as working like competition drives the market, and without competition the Caridina market is just dwindling down fewer and far less than ever.
Someone says works for me with reptiles when I put one to sell. Great in theory till the haters hate.
Yeah, that is 100% the problem. So as much as I would love to go back to Facebook, I just think that there's just too many people that are going to ruin it for everybody else. And at this point, our Facebook's doing really well. I don't want to jeopardize my business or personal Facebook page trying to build that front. So
yeah, we had one time where it locked us out for 2 days, and that was like the worst thing ever. And it wasn't because like we posted something; it was just because we were in a different town and our phone wasn't registering as our device. So
it wasn't registering as the original device, and I was like, "Then what do I do? Because I don't have the original device anymore." So I had to go back to Verizon when we got home.
Yeah, that was awful.
I remember that now. When you first said it, I was like, what happened?
Since air is about 79% nitrogen, why is it that I'm not killing off the shrimp in my tank by running a bubbler?
So the water itself has many different properties. It's got carbon, it's got nitrogen, it's got all this other elements inside of it, but the bubbles themselves really aren't adding the oxygen into the water. It's when the bubbles hit the surface tension is what adds oxygen into the water. It's because the water molecules want to bond with oxygen probably more than nitrogen. I'm not a chemist. I'm not the one to probably answer that question, but that's my best guess. My best guess.
Kelly says, I see people selling shrimp all the time. I saw a guy post shrimp decor, but he posted prices and description. Yeah, I've seen that too. It's just like, it sucks for the people that have like a business and don't want to like ruin or lose their Facebook because they make, videos and content through it. It's just like other people on TikTok or YouTube that don't want to make certain videos because it might get them flagged or might have a chance of them losing, that's their job. And it's a little scary. So it just sucks that they're making it so hard for people to do that and have a business. And I could understand if it was someone that, wasn't properly taking care of their animals or other things that were flagged. But when you just get people that just don't like other people because they're competition, it's just annoying. Welcome in, Scotty.
How's it going, Gene or Patrick? I think it's Gene in the email, so I've been calling you Gene, but it was Patrick first. I'm not sure, but the trip was good. It was a nice little work trip. The food this time was a lot better, so that it made it up for last year's food kind of being subpar for how much you have to pay in Vegas, especially.
And Scotty's got a lot of babies, he says. For snowballs, PRLs, blue bolts. That's a lot of shrimp.
I hope you're entering a lot of shrimp into the shrimp contest. I need Jersey to come through with the local breeders, and you're one of them, Scotty. Anything else?
Sorry. It's happening across the board, though. It shouldn't be a competition of undercutting or cliches, but it kind of is. It's honestly really disappointing for our industry, but it's very hobby, very every industry. It is weird because like I do find it different, but like we're not competition to people in reptiles, so I don't see that side of it. But like in our hobby, for sure, I see it a lot but between aquascaping and plants to fish to shrimp, each little niche part of it, we have people that are like putting other people down, and that's what I want to add to the fact that I think you talk about it a little bit later, but the fact that none of these pages help people when it comes to Caridina. They're always just kind of calling you stupid because you don't know what you're doing, even though you're asking for help. So it's like automatically shooting the people that want to learn and want to be better. And it's like we all learn by doing mistakes, but like I know some people that have been in the hobby for like 30 years and they hear a mistake and they're like, how could you do that? And it's like, well, I mean, I understand there's technology nowadays. It's a little bit different, but some people just get excited. There's a lot of people that like to do things and want to get something for their kid or something else. And you should be encouraging those people to do better, not telling them that they're stupid because they didn't learn. It's the same with a child. It's easier to teach them than it is to just belittle them. So I don't understand why people are like that, but that's how it is. And it's discouraging people from the Caridina hobby because they're not teaching them or educating them on how to do it better. They're spreading a lot of false information, and because it works for them, it might not work for the next person, but they're like, well, you must be doing something wrong then if it's not working for you. And it's like, well, it doesn't work for me because it's not going to work for me. Like no water changes for certain people's water, who's very hard water, is not going to work when it climbs to over 4,000 TDS all of a sudden, and they haven't done a water change and all their shrimp are dying. It's not as dramatic as our water. It's not as hard as some of the other ones. So it's just people like that don't educate and learn from their mistakes and help people.
And the Caridina groups are like dead. So I try to every now and then go into the Neocaridina groups and I'll see somebody have a question and I'll help, and I'll do the best I can. And if it's something I can answer real fast, I will. But if it's something that needs more detailed description or something like that, I'll tag one of our YouTube videos in it. I can't tell you how many times somebody who kept shrimp 8 years ago will try to correct me in the comments, and I'm like, listen, I do this for a living. I know. Like what I'm saying is exactly what it should be, or the standards that it should be at least. So
Kelly said my 24K tank that got cat food in it is finally ammonia free, and the rice fish did great, no losses. That is wonderful to hear.
very nice.
And Gene said it's his middle name, so it's Patrick Gene. So. Speaking of contests, I don't think see the registration form. I only see the buy tickets for $5 on the shrimp page.
So the tickets for $5, that ticket is your shrimps contest entry. So that is the registration form. Once you go to buy your ticket, the next page will have like the category entry. Next week we have it scheduled. It'll be our live stream for next week. Shelby had a meeting at the school today. Barely made it home for dinner before the live stream. Didn't get we're a little late today trying to get the light figured out before we sat down for the live stream. But Layla joined volleyball, so she had a meeting today, and then Jaden joined football. They got a meeting tomorrow. Yeah, we decided next week would be better. We'll have more time to get everything ready.
Hopefully, I'm a little bit more caught up on sleep
for the
already done with this
shrimp contest, because we're going to cover both of them, walk everybody through it, and we'll probably touch up on the guppy contest as well at the same time.
Oh, sorry. While you're there, though, if you are signing up tonight, Tooth Dog, it's $5. I don't know if you're coming to either one of them. It's $5, but if you enter 30, is it $30 worth?
Yeah, I think it's if you enter 5 groups, you can get a ticket in, I think, but it might be listed as 6. But I will get you in if you enter 5 groups. I promise you. All right. So previously rare genetics are now widely available. I talked about how the importers have brought them in. There's a couple of breeders out of Texas who are doing some really high-end shrimp, some purple metallics, some boas, and basically what ended up happening was they did not want to sell shrimp for less than $10 a piece, and the market started selling imports. And I always praise homebred shrimp over imports, so I will never cut my cost as low as an imported shrimp. Domestic raised shrimp are always going to be, in my opinion, worth at least double. And sometimes my prices won't be double what the importers are. So that's why I think they're more of a deal. A lot of times with imports, you struggle raising them, you struggle breeding them, you struggle keeping them alive sometimes. And with homebred, you don't really have any of those issues, especially when you get them a little bit smaller as juveniles. They're made like rubber and magic. They hit the ground, they're up and running and breeding in no time. So with the breeders, not wanting to sell the shrimp and not wanting to advertise them as domestic and try to build up their brands and stuff like that, they just basically got out of the hobby. So a lot of them stopped doing water changes, stopped feeding, stopped really doing the things that produce a lot of babies, because there was no purpose in producing a lot of babies because they couldn't find homes for them. So they stopped entering in the contest, and they weren't building up their name and reputation. So they fell out. But that is a big problem with Caridina. That's why I try to get people, you either do it all and go as much variety as you can, or you just do a couple of tanks and you focus on one variety and you be the best. There isn't really anybody in the United States that's the best for any specific type of Caridina shrimp right now. There used to be a couple, but they're all out of the hobby now. The Bloomfields for calcios, but like Shelly from Lucky Aquatics also has some really nice calcios and blue dragons and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's really hard to say who has the best line of those.
Every
but
time I see that video, I just stop.
I have a couple of lines that I'd like to say that are the best, but I can't compete with nobody. So like, who am I to say?
They're all okay.
So the next thing that I have on my list was the imports have basically undercut domestic breeders to the point where they've gone out. So even the people that were trying to breed the rare genetic ones, those are now coming from overseas as just such common shrimp. And for us to buy the new shrimp costs so much money, like hundreds of dollars, and then by the time you're able to actually start selling babies, they've already reduced the price by so much. It doesn't really make it worth breeding and selling the shrimp. Toot Dog with the 5 gifted subs. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, Toot Dog. If you got one of those, please email us at thegardenofeder@gmail.com. Send us your YouTube name and address. We'll send you a TGOE 10% off code to our website, tgoeshrimp.com. And we got to get onto our stickers and a couple of other things. We got really hyped up by one person that we were going to have something for you soon. But I haven't heard anything since we were in California last. So we got to get something for these the memberships for all your support and everything like that. But thank you, Toot Dog. Really appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Said my biggest gripe is the misinformation in some biz that sells anything to anyone or lying about sources when they get to my store and I tell them the truth and I'm the bad guy for being honest. So weird. At the end of the day, it's the hobbyist that truly suffers. That is exactly the problem. I think a big thing is like some of these places selling to just sell and just to get it out. Because like there's a lot of people, I think the number one thing I hear all the time is that I just don't do good with shrimp. I hear that so often. It drives me crazy. And I have to sit there and explain, and we'll go back and forth. And usually at the end of the day, it's the quality of shrimp that they had purchased is usually the underlying problem. That they buy it from a big box store and they're giant, or they're buying it from someone else and they're giant adults. And 90% of the time, those are going to fail. They're not healthy enough, or they're too stressed to even have babies. And then you just have them and they die. And that's why people come over to our booth and they look at our table and they're like, your shrimp are so tiny. And it's like, well, these are going to survive for you. What do you want? Something that actually stays alive and breeds for you? Or do you want to just have something pretty for a few months and then they die on you? And then you think you're a poor fish keeper because of it. It's one of the more simplest things to keep besides fish is the shrimp and snails. And people fail at them and then they think that they can't do anything at that point because they're told that this is an easy beginner thing to put in your tank. So yes, that can really stop someone's entire future in the fish hobby right there.
And the other thing we'll get is people come up to the booth, oh, I can't keep shrimp, I killed them every single time. And I'll ask them, where did you get them? Were the shrimp full size? Do you have a water softener? And usually it's one of those 3 things. Or I'll ask, how often are you doing water changes? And I'll get them on one of those, right? And then from there, I'm able to convince them to try again. And then it's so rewarding when we go back to that show the next year and the person's ready to buy more shrimp because they're like, yeah, it was the source. I'm only going to buy your shrimp. I've got a couple of tanks set up. And this guy is so excited because he had wasted so much money in the past. And now he's into the hobby and he's able to take off and be successful. So no job to pay for the trip and you're giving us 5 gifted subs, Toot Dog.
Too nice.
Gotta save up the money so we can see you at the next year's Aquashella. Yeah, I spent $900 for from the Black Ninjas from Benny. Oh, do you still have those going? And then
Oh, and someone says,
Leo
yeah.
asked about snowfalls. I know a couple of breeders that have snowfalls here in the United States, but like I don't know anybody asking for them. I don't know anybody that really wants them. If you're asking for them, I think Lucky Aquatics has them.
Not in Jacob.
Jacob has them. Jacob
I don't
Waters.
believe so. I mean, he was the closest besides Shelly. Was the only two people that I could think of. Welcome in, Jennifer. What are your favorite Caridina? The only ones that typically sell the most, actually,
No.
for me, because it's funny because I was telling him, I was like, we're going over the list of things of like Caridinas and what we've sold and what's not selling. And I was like, it's funny because the ones I really like to keep are the ones that generally, they don't do great. They're not like Neos. Like, I'll sell 1 cup of these to 50 cups of Neos, okay? But still, Tangerine Tigers and Raccoon Tigers, both of them are one of my truly favorite, easier Caridinas to keep. And they're still rewarding to me. And they still do really well. People like those because they can take those and they can mix those with other shrimp and get breeding projects going and make something from scratch that no one else has. And I think those are why those still do really well. And they're easier to put into different parameters. So I think that helps a lot. But
mine are the greens when they're actually green. The problem is they're like never green. My last generation of kiwis pretty much came out all yellows. The yellow genetic is so strong, and I know this from my mixed Caridina tanks that are like all either red tie bees or yellow King Kongs, and I'm getting a good amount of tang ties out of them, and that's like the strong and the recessive genes kind of popping out. But other than that, everything else, the greens, they're just not green enough to be my favorite right now. I've got a few tanks of orange eyes. It's kind of hard to decide which one, but a couple of my orange eyed tiger projects are probably my favorite.
And Scotty said, yes, I plan on entering at least 2 or 3 different entries. Nice. Awesome. That's great to hear. And then they said, Elite said, I completely underestimated the hobby when I became a business owner in this. Super bummed out about that. I promote there is no one method. Domestic bred shrimps are 10 times hardier, and honesty can work against you sometimes. I believe that if you're not honest, you'll always lose customers. Like, you might not notice it because, you're always having like a funneling of different customers. But I do believe dishonest businesses or people that just don't do well, they won't be successful. They're the ones that you see that come up, they come in big and strong, packing a punch where they're like, oh, here's 30 shrimp for like $10, and then they're gone and they have to start a new business, and you'll see another weird name business out of nowhere with the same punchline. It's because it's the same person that has to be dishonest constantly. So honesty is a good way to just build rapport and customer bases, because I have a lot of our customers are returning customers because they've known us for years, because they want to go back. We might not be the cheapest, we might not be the best of the best, but we definitely at least try to treat you right and do what we can to make sure you're doing well in the hobby, that you'll have success and enjoy what you're doing and not be disappointed, hopefully.
And there's also a big problem with a lot of people that are marketing their shrimp as homebred, and they're not homebred.
Yeah.
Like, I know facilities that are selling homebred shrimp that are not known in the hobby at all to even be bred. They're all wild caught. And
They set up tanks 2 days ago, and they're all homebred.
If you have these shrimp available and they're being homebred, you'd probably make more money sharing the process and everything like that goes involved. But instead, they're hiding it, and the real ones know that they're just lying. There's also a lot of the way people will list their shrimp. You can tell that they're importing because they're naming it the exact same thing that goes on the import sheet, and they're following it the way the importers name it rather than the way that true hobbyists name it and call them. It's definitely like too many people are just slapping that homebred name onto anything they can, even though it's not. So um, let me dive on into the next one, and that is too many similar names and patterns. When you get into some of the Tai bees and the Thai bees and even the Taiwan bees to the crystals, there's too much similarity, and it's hard to see with a trained eye, and it's easy for people to get ripped off and not get the right thing. And then my standards are different than somebody else's standards, so then they come to me and they're like, "Hey, what do you think of this pinto?" And I'm like, "Well, it's not a pinto. There's no spots on the face. Like, in order for it to be a pinto, there should be spots on the face. The pinto name comes from the spots on the face, you know?" And so then they feel like they got ripped off, and then they're bummed and they get out of the hobby rather than, chatting it up with the breeder and maybe getting a return shipment or something like that. There's just too many people that have just cut so many corners. People have gotten burned, and then you've got the same name of multiple different types, like dragon's blood. There's blue dragon's blood, and then there's red King Kongs that have dragon's blood, where the black and maroon is so deep and dark that it doesn't look like a red ruby shrimp anymore. But it's got the same exact name. Then you've got blue demons and uh, orange eye blue devils, and there's so many similarities. And then there's no actual structure or standards that are set or followed. You've got European names, you've got Asian names, and then within Asia, you've got Nanashi and Nancy and all these other things that you can call the exact same shrimp. And then because of all the different names, you don't know if that's set and solid on the phenotype or if there's something underneath it in the genotype. And because of this, too many people can't keep track of the genetics. I have a vast knowledge of the shrimp genetics up until like 3 or 4 years ago. And anything that's come out in the last 3 or 4 years, I'll be honest with you, I can try and tell you how to make it, but there's so many different crossbreeds and so many different variables that are going into these shrimp that a lot of it is just playing the lottery, having so many tanks, having so many different varieties of shrimp, and then one day, oh, that one looks really good. All right, can I replicate it? All right, I replicated it. And, over in Asia and Europe, there's so many more Caridina breeders, and they're so far ahead of what we're doing over here in the United States. Over there, I'm like bottom of the totem pole when it comes to Caridina breeders. Over here, though, I'm at the top, and it's there's not enough Caridina breeders for that to even be like, oh, yay! That's like, I'm not gonna give any other examples because I'll hurt somebody's feelings one way or another. But I would like to be like middle of the pack for Caridina. I would like to be like one of the top shrimp breeders in the United States. But overall, like, I'm trying to do Sulawesi, Opaula, Neos, Caridina. I'm trying to do everything, but at the moment, I feel like the Caridina hobby is just spread so thin that there's only like 5 of us. I feel like at this point that has like a variety of more than 10.
It does seem really low. Welcome in, George.
And at that point, all 5 is at the top because that's all it takes is just having that many varieties.
2 dogs that I have 2 and 1 striped black ninja babies. I called them Coles, keeping them solid blacks to grow the colony. I do love the solid black shrimp. You don't see them as much anymore. I do believe, like, that's the thing. It's so confusing, even with the neos, where people just argue back and forth about the genetics on some of them, and it's like, I mean, this is what happened. Like, there's imports that come with different names. It's the same shrimp, just like what they called blue dreams blueberries at one point, and then it's crazy how much it goes. Do you guys have orange-eyed black King Kongs?
So we do not have orange-eyed black King Kongs, but we have orange-eyed black devils. Very similar, but they don't have like the white on the tail that the black King Kongs would have. I don't think anybody in the United States has orange-eyed black King Kongs, and even then, there isn't any true black King Kongs. So they all have different names. The black devils I know are more of a tiger hybrid, but the pure, not the pure, but the actual Taiwan bee genetic double tone tie bee orange eyes. I don't know of anyone breeding them over here in the United States yet.
Yeah, and I really do think that Facebook not having the marketplace, or not, it's not the marketplace, it's not having the specific page that there once was for the shrimpers to post. It's kind of hard to remember who's selling what anymore because you only see it in band, and if you don't go on band, it's not very common. So, like, where most people generally scroll through Facebook and Reels and Instagram, that's where you can see like someone who's actually working on these lines like they used to be. Welcome in, Mike. Question: do you have Bloody Mary shrimps in stock?
So I do not have any Bloody Mary shrimp available. I recently, in the beginning of the year when we set up, or beginning of the summer when we set up the tubs on the side of the house, I got some Bloody Marys from the Bloomfields, but I only got like 12. So it's probably going to be next year when I start selling Bloody Marys, but their tub isn't like green water. I just can't see the bottom. I tried to get more hose so I can do water changes on the tubs outside, but Home Depot doesn't have any like bulk size hose anymore, and I'm not buying little sections of hose for $20 a piece when I need like 100-foot section. So I will have to find somebody that works for West Marine that Shelby knows that still lives up here to bring us a roll, or I'll have to order it online. Probably is what I'll just end up doing. But I need to do some water changes on those tubs. We've got a video coming out how my drip system isn't working the best. I'm gonna have to come up with like prototype number 2. Shelby doesn't think it's gonna work, by the way. I have faith in it. So it'll be one of those things. Hopefully it works out great. But we could use a water change on the tub and figure out the stock, but I don't know how the Bloody Marys are doing, to be honest.
Yeah,
I do know that the Black Rose tub, that will have a video coming out. Hopefully me and Shelby will have time to film that tomorrow. But I've been saving all of the reds in the Black Rose tub this entire summer, and I will probably catch out all the Bloody Marys Wednesday, Thursday maybe, and set up another tub on the other side of the house. Added some green emeralds to a tub today, which I didn't think I was going to do, but I did it.
Well, someone made you accidentally catch them.
Yeah.
And then it just worked out.
It was a happy accident. Who doesn't love greens?
So, welcome in. Fishing Master says, hey, Grant and Shelby, hope you're all well. I had a question. Do you guys have any blue bolts left from Plamsky? Looking to get more of his bloodline and to add back in from the ones I got from him.
So,
I have to feed him.
Those aren't Plamskis.
No?
No. Plamskis are those ones up there. So I have stock from Plamsky, but um, here's what I have to say is at the end of Plamsky's breeding reign, he had so much shrimp and his systems were all together, and he assured me that all of his lines were pure and first generation of babies. I was getting back lines and like pintos that shouldn't have been coming out of Taiwan bees. So none of his lines, I think, were kept pure because of how busy he got with his new job. And towards the end, uh, these tanks were so packed, and I think they're climbing over and getting through somehow. That some of the blue steels got in with his blue bolts. So I do have some. If you're looking for some, you can place an order on our website, and I will catch them out of that tank. But I personally, as a shrimp breeder, do not think that they're a pure line.
And then Kelly asked, "Do you have Snow White Caridina still?" I do. I don't know if we have them.
I don't think you have any available.
The only one
somebody
would be that tank up there. That'd be yours.
I think Jamie asked about them, and I already went and looked, and I don't think we could let any go.
Not currently.
We've been traveling too much. Somebody's not been doing enough water changes.
Yeah, both of us have not been doing enough water changes on anything. My bedroom was the last one that recently just got done, and we're just waiting for filters now. So, gotta love how much you have to replace filters when you have too many tanks. The answer, I've been looking for them orange-eyed King Kongs for years. Yeah, I do love the orange-eyed King Kongs. I don't see them very often. Blue jelly, struggling to find high-quality homebred jellies in the Midwest, wanting to add fresh genetics into our line.
So we have what I think is one of the best blue jelly, blue velvet lines out there. I don't know if we have them on the website posted as blue jellies. I'm pretty positive we should have one posted as blue jellies, and then we should just post one at blue velvets because it's too hard to explain to people that they're the exact same shrimp. Now,
blue jellies and blue velvets.
Now there's many different lines out there of blue jellies that are being sold and blue velvets that are being sold, but if you go back to the original shrimp forms, all the information was the importers who were bringing them over changed the name to drive up sales to get people to buy the next new shrimp. I can't remember which one came first. I think it was blue jelly and then blue velvet came after, but they're the exact same shrimp. There's no difference between them. We have them posted as blue velvets on our website, but I promise you it's the exact same thing as a blue jelly. If you see the post, the picture that we have on there, that is exactly what they all look like. I do get some culls out of my line that are like broken red Rilly culls. I'll get a red head or a red tail or like a stripe through the body or like red around the eyes or something like that. But very few culls compared to what we used to get when we first got in the hobby. If you're looking for shrimp that are deeper and darker in color, then you don't have blue jellies and you don't want blue jellies, I would look into blue diamonds because I don't think anybody has blue dreams anymore. And I've talked with a couple people since I made that claim, and everybody has black pigment in their lines. So waiting for nice blue dreams, authentic.
Fishing said, I've had a colony of blue bolts and have not had any issues with randoms popping out. I had a mix with some from Nick Teeter, and they still didn't throw random ones on me.
Yeah, so like I said, I don't think that his lines were like mixed beforehand. I think that he got so busy that the shrimp were just so packed in the aquariums, and he had all of his pintos and Taiwan bee lines like in the same tanks. They were just dividers, and it's too easy for a shrimp to just go up and over the side and whatnot, climb over. We find shrimp all over the place, dried up little shrimpsicles, and they're just gonna it's gonna happen from time to time.
Nancy B said, "Your blue jellies are very pretty. I saw them in Chattanooga. Thank you. And welcome in." Jean said, "Do you, Patrick? Sorry, no, I'm gonna keep doing that now. Do you think your blue jelly neo shrimps look good in a planted aquarium with black sand?"
Yeah, absolutely. The blues.
Is that one in black sand? Well, we have them all in black sand inside.
Those are on black sand.
Blues always.
The blue jellies, the yellows, the reds, those are what I usually recommend on black substrate if you're looking for something to pop in your aquarium.
Is it on? Yeah, the first one on our website. There's one on black sand, and then I show it on lighter substrate as well. Well, rocks and stuff. So you can get to see both of them show a pretty good color. The only ones we don't recommend for the blues are like the blue diamonds, just because they get so dark that they're harder to see, but I still enjoy them on the darker substrate. I like them being dark. It's just a preference, honestly, with those. Welcome in Craig and Bugsy and Stephen P.
So I see we're bouncing around like 30, 32 viewers tonight. If we can get to 40 viewers, I'll do a giveaway, a little gift card or some Neocaridina to the website. So try and keep an eye on the viewers there on the screen. But another problem with the Caridina side of the hobby is the cost to get into Caridina is a little bit higher. You have to buy aqua soil, which is a little bit more expensive than like an inert bag of substrate. You can buy pea gravel for like $7 a bag at Home Depot, and you can buy black diamond blasting sand for pretty cheap. And your cheapest bag of aqua soil for a 10-gallon tank is probably going to cost you 4 times the amount of money, right? Then you have the RO unit. That itself is about, on average, $150. So for most people, most startup costs, you're going to be looking about $200 to $250 more to get started on a Caridina tank than it would be to get started on a Neocaridina tank. So that right there is what prevents a lot of people from getting in the hobby. And then on top of that, all the research, everything out there that's promoted, and yes, overall, Neocaridina are easier to care for. There's more competition or buyers for Neocaridina as well and everything. So when it comes to setting up a tank or tank for breeding for profit or anything like that, Neocaridina tends to be what more people are leaning towards. It's just easier to care for with tap water, and because of that, the market for Neocaridina shrimp is going to be so much higher than Caridina ever will be. There's been a couple of chat here. Got you distracted more.
Kelly said, "My blue diamonds are amazing. Got from you guys. Went from 12 to approximately 200 plus in February. That's crazy." Thank you, Tube Dog, for telling people to get those likes. Thank you, Nancy B.
It's crazy to think how far our blue diamonds have come. It's even crazier to think that I could possibly phase all of them out by the end of the year. Like, I might keep a pond of them, but I very well could just get rid of all of them for
Of what?
all the blue diamonds and replace them with ocean blues.
You shut your mouth right now. You're not getting rid of my blue diamonds. I love my blue diamonds, and I love that they throw carbon relays. I love that they throw different colors.
It's possible.
Yeah.
But
no, it's not possible.
The economy is definitely not helping with the price of how much it costs for a Caridina tank to start up with. Usually, when your housing cost and everything else is at a premium, you're not going to be spending money on livestock purchases. And if you are, generally, you're going to tend to lean towards the cheaper ones. Not just the setup for Caridina shrimp, but most of the Caridina shrimp are more expensive on average than Neos. Like you can find Neo culls for $1 a piece right now at tgoeshrimp.com, but your bottom line for most Caridina are going to be about $4, even if you find culls. So it's about 4 times the cost to get your Caridina shrimp when you're just looking at the live cost itself.
So, let's say Chucker Cluckin' Shrimp Aquatics said, "What is your most popular Neo at local shows? Curious the change based on region."
Oh, yeah, we could get into that. It's definitely like Tennessee is one of the last places we just were. Tennessee probably buys more orange shrimp than any other show that we do. And it's because Tennessee is the color of their football team. So orange sells in Tennessee, doesn't really sell anywhere else. Then you have your popular ones at shows are going to be blues and greens. Most of the time we don't have greens, but when we do have greens, they sell out pretty quickly. And then you have tiger shrimp. Usually tiger shrimp at shows because you can keep them with Neocaridina and they can't crossbreed because it's a Caridina shrimp that's an entry-level Caridina shrimp that you can keep in Neocaridina parameters. That'll entice more people. So I would say the 3 show premium shrimp are going to be blues, greens, and then the tiger shrimp. But if you have green, have orange eyes. I think the orange eyes are doing really well at shows. There have been a couple of booths at the last few shows that have had like just orange eyes, and they did pretty well for having just orange eye shrimp. So.
Tube Dog says, "All my tanks are on black sand substrate, and I'm moving away from soil. For Neos, I have designed submergible reset boxes for the Caridina soil. Simply open the lid, dump the soil, and replace." Nice. I think that's what
Benite has a basket.
Benite. Yeah, the basket. Okay. I do agree with that. I personally cannot stand bare bottom tanks, so I'll never ever do that. But I do like Ruben. We did a tour of his room. He would do a thin layer of the soil, then he had the boxes in the back which had like plants. He could take that out, replace the substrate, and put it back in. I've seen a couple people do it that way. I do enjoy that. It does help when the substrate's exhausted, especially when you're breeding higher end Caridinas, and you don't necessarily want to start a whole nother tank and cycle it and wait for it for that whole process. But yeah, it's a lot of work. But
that's another thing is Neocaridina tanks. You kind of set them in. They're running for pretty much ever, right? Caridina tanks kind of have like a 5-year max before you have to set them to like a tiger tank or reset the tank altogether. And 5 years is kind of like max. I'll have another video probably in 3 years from now that'll talk about like
that was too good.
the 5-year-old tanks and stuff, the problems involved.
Jenna said, "Do you think that the Neos even beat Amano shrimp?" Personally, I do think that Amanos will always be really people want them because they think that they take care of hair algae, which I think they do help a lot with the problem that causes the hair algae, which hence will make the tank look better. And I think people do like that little larger size Amanos. I don't know if they beat Neos.
Here's the problem.
They'll kill them.
Beat them in
death.
what? Yes. If we're talking grappling match, Amanos all day, every day. If we're talking about food eating contest, Amanos all day. Algae eating contest, Amanos all day. But when it comes to like the hobby overall, Amanos are super hard to breed. And then we've seen Scotty's Amano breeding setup in California, and it's very small scale. The amount of work and effort that he would have to do to breed the monos on a scale to get them out to the masses, and the amount of work that he has to do itself is just, the average person's not going to want to do it. So therefore, I think the Neos, when it comes to breeding purposes and resale, I think Neos are going to be the winners.
Nancy B said ocean blues with her vote. I love the ocean blues, don't get me wrong. I will definitely want more ponds of ocean blues compared to blue diamonds, but I would never get rid of my blue diamonds just because, just like blue dreams. Blue dreams are really not, you really can't find them. The most of them are blue diamonds now. Like, I have not found anyone with a solid blue dream line that actually throws a red 1 in 1,000 shrimp, or actually light blue shrimp and not spotted dark blue shrimp. And so it would be nice to always have that possibility to have blue diamonds, because what if ocean blues never create carbon lilies?
No, I think we're going to get rid of a blue diamond pond and just have the carbons. And if we ever wanted blue diamonds, we could always make them again from our black rose tanks. It's not like blue diamonds are going to be gone. Like, we could make. I have been working on the blue velvet pond out in the greenhouse to remake.
Out of 4 tubs, I will let it go down to maybe 2.
No, 1. That's the compromise. 2. We went from 0 to 2 to 1. All right.
No.
Done.
How long do Caridina shrimp usually live for?
So usually about 3 to 4 years. But I had a group of orange-eyed black tigers that entered the very first contest, and many contests, traveled all across the United States, brought home many awards, and I had 2 individuals that lived for 6 years.
Yeah, they were ridiculous.
And I can prove that. It's the same shrimp in each of the photos. Like, it is quite clear. Also, when I entered them in the last contest, and everyone's like, I've never seen bigger shrimp. Well, you know why? Because shrimp never stopped growing, and they were 6 years old. And I promise you, they will live that long if you take care of them and you bring them to Chicago and you feed them deep dish pizza, and then you bring them to the New York and you feed them cookies, and then you breed them. Bring them to Texas and you give them barbecue. They will live. They will be happy for the travels.
Welcome in, CR Fish. Hope you're doing well.
That was a joke about the food, but they did travel. They had no complaints.
We have our orange-eye green line going. We got some from Scotty and some from Chin. It'll be a while before they're ready, but it's a show-stopping combo. Yeah. We
got some from Scotty. And I don't think I got any babies in that tank yet, but
greens are always more difficult.
We need to do some tank maintenance on some of these tanks, because I need to move the greens out of that tank, and then we got Sulawesi shrimp coming this week.
Well, I started. All I gotta do is get them drained.
Thursday we got Sulawesi shrimp coming. What kind? How many? I don't know, but Dan's sending me a box.
Kelly said greens, interesting. Greens are super sought out for. The only thing that we don't post, we have a lot of greens. A lot of times we have hundreds of greens. But the problem is that their quality is really like flip-flop. Like, it could be green in my water, yellow in your water. And I mean, like a light green. You can tell it's a green, but we've had them for years. We've culled. It doesn't matter how much you cull. It really doesn't. Greens are just those picky ones that I could send you a whole handful of super nice greens, like especially emeralds. We get constant complaints when someone orders emerald for us. You sent me blue shrimp, and I'm like, no, they're a blue-based shrimp. That's what emeralds are. They're blue and greenish.
The best story is one week somebody ordered yellows and blue diamonds. All right, they get the box in. It's yellow and blue shrimp. They're happy with it. No complaints. They make another order. This time they order orange and green emeralds. What color do orange and green emeralds turn during shipping when they're stressed out? Yellow and blue. So when the customer got the bags, they're like, hey, all the shrimp are alive. They all look great, but the only problem is I think you reshipped my same order again because I have more bags of yellow and blue shrimp. And I was like, I promise you, let them color up. Those are the right shrimp. They just stress out and they change. And I promise you, they will color up again for you. Shelby hit a button, gave us the boot, but we're still here.
So apparently,
don't leave.
When I right-clicked the mouse twice, it hits the back button. So I apologize. I am really sorry. Yeah, sorry.
It's all right. I'll let it slide this one time.
Elite said agreed. The entry-level Caridina are picking up in popularity, and from an economic standpoint, the pricing helps for the popularity. People are willing to try them out and not worry about killing them. Yeah.
And those have been our best sellers for Caridina for a while. But even when we look at those right now, those have been really dropping.
Yeah, they're still not where they used to be.
No, they're
like
not.
I said, they're still selling, but nowhere where they used to. Like, I used to be telling Grant once a week, take my tangerine tigers off the website. I'm done with it. There's too many. Like, we'll get an order of 25, and I'll be like, all right, we're tapping that tank out. And I'm like, no.
I'll be like, I got another tank. Don't do it yet, Shelby.
But it was.
We haven't had that discussion.
Right. Because
we had an order for 25 go out today, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure one of my tanks, my secret tanks, has that no problem. And she's like, yeah, no, it's not a problem.
Yeah. So, because we haven't been selling them as much.
We also set up more tanks, but still,
more constant, like 10 here, 10 here, 10 here. And that was nice because, like, it was, it felt like people were finally getting into the Caridina side because that is, like, the beginner one to start with. Or doing cross projects or something. But I could tell there's, like, a steady decline in it, which I'm happy because my tanks are looking nice and I enjoy my shrimp, and I don't have to yell at Grant.
So we have had, oh man, I don't even know what I was gonna say.
Short nose versus long nose, or short nose / long nose versus Amano in terms of algae cleanup.
I think Amanos are a little bit better, but
like the Pinocchios, is that what they're talking about?
The Pinocchio ones have a better reputation for it.
But you can breed the long nose.
I don't think either one of them are going to eat a lot of algae unless you do water changes and you work on killing the algae at the same time in cooperation. Mm-hmm. Unless you throw so much shrimp in, they have no other food source.
Yeah. I think that's the only thing that people have been successful for is not feeding their shrimp. They put the shrimp in as algae control, but they're not feeding the shrimp at all. Like we're breeding, we're usually feeding shrimp. Algae or I've only seen a couple incidences where I've actually seen Amanos trying to eat algae, and it's probably because they're starving.
And
it could be certain algae
instances where people like, oh, this is the tank, my shrimp tank, and I throw all my algae in it. Well, that's because your shrimp tank has a thriving, stable ecosystem, and the tank that's algae in it is thriving and growing algae. When you take it out of that tank and you throw it into a stable tank, the algae starts to die because it doesn't have the nutrients to thrive, and then the shrimp can start eating it. So I don't keep either one of those shrimp to really say one of them's better than the other.
I have definitely wanted to start keeping Amano shrimp, especially because they're coming out in different colors now. And I do want to breed them because we do get people asking for them all the time. I would love to. Once the garage gets a little bit more in shape, one of the bigger tanks might be dedicated to just breeding Amanos. But they would have to be like the yellows. I think there's orange out now. I don't care. I'm going to put them all in the same tank and I'm going to see how they do and see if we get any funky colors out of them and enjoy it for the ride. Nancy B said, "This is looking like the put a banana in your shrimp tank fight." I hate that comment so much. Oh, it's so funny. And it's like funny because like if you had a big planted tank, like a banana's not gonna be a problem because like the plants will eat the potassium from it. But like people just put bananas in a tank with nothing in it. Like they just have decor, you know?
It's
like
gonna smell.
Yeah, that's true. Bugsy said Pinocchio shrimp worked great for me as far as getting rid of hair algae. Yeah, see, they help so much because they're cleaning. Welcome in, Jody. Hope you're doing well. I caught a little bit of your live stream the other day. So that was nice to see all four of you guys up there.
All right, should I dive in?
Yeah.
All right, so there's that crazy train dream of being a high-end breeder and selling all of your shrimp and expecting easy profit. And there's so many breeders who do this and jump into it, and they're too far into it for the money, and they're not actually in it for the love of the game, is what I gotta say. For me, I've already talked about this. We probably make 95, maybe more, of our money off of Neocaridina shrimp and all the ponds outside. Me and Shelby joked about it maybe this week about getting rid of all the tanks inside because they're really not needed. At this point, it's more for myself to keep them going and to have my crossbreeding projects and the sales that we're getting from the Caridina tanks might be paying for our electric bill, but like it's probably not as worth it as much as like we probably turn the house into breeding more neos and all orange-eyed neos and make way more money, and the Caridina doesn't seem like it makes that much sense. So they really gotta love it. You gotta want to make a new strain and be the one to create the best pure red lines in the United States. So that's got to be your mission. And if it's not, you're not going to stay in the hobby very, very long because there's too many highs and lows in the hobby. You'll be doing really good for a year or two, and then you'll have a period like this where it's not that good. But next year you might have meta come out where people are able to like come and tour your shrimp tanks and buy directly out of your tanks, and all of a sudden Caridina are the next big thing, and it doesn't, you don't know what trend is going to set it off. But there's too many people that are only in it for the money, and they build these big fancy shrimp rooms and they expect to make all the profit off of it, and they're like, I'm not making any more than I had with the 6 aquariums that I had in my house to start. So you gotta want it. You gotta have skin in the game and love it at the same time.
Doug said, I want boxers, please be boxers. I wish. Did we ever post that video? I think we did. Yeah,
we did.
Those pink boxers are so cute. I could watch them all day.
We could get those when we're ready for them, but I probably should have ordered those before I got the Sulawesi off the end, but we'll find out what Sulawesi we have.
Yeah. Bugsy said, I can't give greens away. I'm surprised because people bother us all the time for greens. Like, obviously, they want, like, emeralds or green jades.
And then talk about seasonal. When it comes to St. Patty's Day in February and March, I can't keep greens in stock. So that's the goal next year, is have enough greens for St. Patty's Day. How nice would that be? A St. Patty's Day sale? Get your shrimp.
We did make it to 40 viewers. Thank you, Fish Family.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Nancy,
I wasn't keeping an eye on it.
I know. Well, I saw 39, and I was like, that's close enough. We don't have
all right. So
to make it to exactly
the lovely
40.
Shelby can get the
if I
video
can.
going for
What's
us.
It called? Fish Family.
I will go on the next topic. Before I was like in this as my full-time job, I was in this to make a collection that nobody else had. I wanted to have the biggest variety of shrimp in the United States. I wanted to have the nicest variety of shrimp in the United States. Like, I don't think there's very many people out there that are going to be collecting or chasing that dream anymore. There used to be a couple of them that were like Jeff out of Minnesota. Then you had Daniel Johnson. You had a couple of breeders at one point who were like trying to catch them all and to get as many varieties as we could as they could get, and as many tanks, and with that drove up sales because I didn't have something that Dan had. So I bought my raccoons off of Dan, and I bought my aquatic isopods off of Dan. And then Dan didn't have cardinal shrimp, so he bought his cardinals off of us. And Jeff didn't have orange-eyed black tigers, but he had galaxy tigers back when those were a thing. So I was like, I'll get those later, and da-da-da-da-da. We don't have many collectors at all anymore. Like, there's very, very few people with more than 10 varieties of Caridina shrimp. And
there's someone in the room with us.
Most of those people aren't collectors. Those people are sellers. They're in the market to try and make a profit. Garcia Aquatics with the gifted membership. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Thank you. If you got that gifted membership, please email us at thegardenofeder@gmail.com, and we'll send you a 10% off code to our website, tgoeshrimp.com. Sorry, froze there for a second. Trying to catch up on Shelby's spot. She kind of left me hanging here. There is a giveaway. There will be a giveaway, so don't go nowhere. I don't know if Shelby has it up and running yet or not. All right. I don't know what the hashtag is, but Jonathan G knows the hashtag. What's the hashtag? Hashtag TGOE. To get in on the giveaway, we're going to do a $20 gift card to our website, tgoeshrimp.com. When I'm done with all of the notes here, and I'm on my last one, so it won't be long.
Thank you, Garcia, by the way. I was not here.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Hobby Shrimp Texas says, Whatnot has live fish sales. Have you thought about selling on there? At one point, Grant did try to convince me to do that, and I said, absolutely not. And maybe one.
I didn't try to convince you to do it.
No, you did. You said Whatnot is a new platform. Someone else had mentioned it to you, and I was like,
Moses mentioned it,
that's
and
happened.
I wasn't planning on doing it myself. Okay, so that wasn't
no ghost.
Right.
It was me.
I was not trying to sell on Whatnot. I was trying to sell more shrimp to the kid that was selling on Whatnot. So, yeah, I'm aware. My issue is when I look into that, when I look into Palm Street, when I look into the past other like Aquabid kind of sales forms, it's just so much work. And when you have 500 aquariums and you've got a YouTube channel that has 12 videos that aren't edited and put through, and you've got plenty of other things to keep you busy, the last thing I need is to sit in front of the camera and live auction my shrimp and try to make money that way. If you see us on there, just know we're getting desperate. or like one of us is deathly ill and I don't want to start a GoFundMe program and tell you all about it. Like that if you see us on there, just know something's wrong, because we should be doing it without auctioning off our shrimp.
So my fish, I actually think this is the most interesting question. I don't know if anyone's ever asked us this. Did you have your wife's support from the start, or only when you started making money? So this is a different question pertaining money. It wasn't necessarily money, but we were both very young. I was 18 when I had our son, and I've been with Grant since I was 16. And we had good jobs. Like, I was a manager. He had the landscaping job, which I know he was miserable at, but we were making decent money. It wasn't great money.
I wasn't miserable at the job. I was just miserable doing the job.
I'm sorry.
I made them bushes look like lollipops in Disneyland, and we're not in Orlando, okay?
So you were very good at it, and it made us decent money. Not enough to like go, out to travel or go to Disneyland, but it was paying the bills and keeping food on the table. And when he started talking about shrimp, I thought he was joking. I really did not think that it was going to be a thing. I thought they were food for my fish.
I think let me stop you right there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of backstory information that you're not sharing. We both had aquariums as kids. We both were very interested in the hobby. I had an all right paying job, probably better than what most kids was making at my age. And I was spending probably half of my paycheck going to the fish store. And then later on, we were getting into reptiles and other stuff like that. So it wasn't so much like she supported it. It was, she didn't believe I was going to make money off of it. She's like, you can buy it. You didn't have to tell me that we're going to make money off of it. You can just have these shrimp. But like, we're feeding them to the Oscars, right? I'm like, no, like, these are nice ones. Like, these are going to be like $3 a piece, $4 a piece. People are going to pay me for these. They're going to be,
we'll see.
They're going to be sought after.
If they're food or they're.
So that's the joke, and that's where the denial was. But she had already, previous to that, believed in me and supported my dream of breeding chameleons. And I think I could have still been a chameleon breeder, still been successful, but I pulled that plug and stopped breeding the chameleons because my dad offered to sell me his landscape business. And you can't keep chameleons without taking care of crickets and worms for 2 hours a day. And after you've done like 12 hours out in the Florida sun, the last thing you want to do is go into the garage and take care of crickets and worms.
Yeah, it was
so I had already proved that I could do something with breeding and make it profitable. But when I told her it was going to be shrimp, that's where she thought it was funny.
Yeah. It's not that I said it. And now, mind you, I did fight back. I wasn't always easy because we had children. And there's a fine line of, I don't like spending money. Like, I buy T-shirts for under $20. These dresses are usually under $20. It's very rare I find anything $20 or up and spend it. So when you're talking to me about spending $40, $50 on some shrimp, my mind just can't process it. So, but I think at all times with any partner that you ever have, if they don't support you, they're not your partner. If they don't think that you can do something, now that doesn't mean go gamble your life away and they're not supporting me gambling or my drug addiction, like something that's not toxic. But if you believe in something that is something that you enjoy and you really do want to do, doesn't mean throw your whole life away. But like, I feel like if you're not supporting or believing in the other person, you're holding them back regardless. And that's on either side. If I told them that I wanted to be an artist and I wanted to start doing art, like, it's something you're going to look at the other person and you'll be like, okay, well, go try, go do it. But like, you have to be responsible. You have to still make money. You still have to provide. You have to get food, and you got to think about that first. And Grant is very good at figuring all that out. So I didn't have to worry about that. I've always just worried about like, all right, let's just. So you shouldn't go take a loan and bet it all on 18 leg parlay. Don't even know what that means, but I get it. Don't gamble. Like, it's not worth it. But
and then also, after all of that,
you make money though.
I have to point out that Shelby is the problem.
Oh no!
All right, no. And if you're around Shelby long enough, you will definitely see. If you go to a store with Shelby, you will definitely notice. Shelby's the problem. Shelby's the one that I have to say no to. Shelby's the one that set all the ground rules and then broke all of them. And I'm okay with breaking them because I didn't put the rules there in the first place. So it becomes a real big problem when you have two people with the same kind of mindset, and then the one person was like, yeah, I have no more rules anymore. And then they're also the ones that are like, I want a guinea pig. I want to get Layla a bird. I want to get Jaden a snake. I want to get da 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 da.
Yeah.
And I'm the sensible
so he tells
one
me all the time,
that I'm
no,
like,
he never supports me.
We need to catch up on the stuff that we have that can be neglected before we get stuff that can't be neglected.
I'm the one person who definitely wants 100 things in the house, and I know that I can't. I don't physically. I just say 100 times that I want it, and he just has to learn to live with that. Because in the same sentence of going, why won't you get us a guinea pig? I go, I know we can't have a guinea pig. Or like, why won't you get us a cat? I'm allergic to cats. Our son's allergic to cats.
Myra might be.
Yeah, we don't know yet. But yeah, I definitely, it has been a crazy, I definitely am a little bit of a problem.
Let me dive into the.
Sorry.
Okay.
So I mentioned to you guys in a message, myself on 5-Star Betta is setting up an auction October 10th at 8 p.m. We would love for people to join us and sell some fish and or shrimp and plants. I think I did see your message.
I saw the message.
To Grant yet, but
I have no clue what I'm doing October 10th.
That's too far in advance.
I'm figure out the rest of August.
2 children in the sports right now, and I'm now trying to navigate that. And I think that's like right after, because it's going to be a Saturday after her banquet, because that's going to be her last day.
Oh no, I can't. This is the day that Jason from Primetime Aquatics will be here. I'll be busy that day.
Yeah, but we can share it probably around once we know a little bit more information. Probably. At least announce it on the YouTube when it comes closer, hopefully.
All right, before you dive in, let me finish off.
No, let me interrupt you a couple more times.
Let me finish off. All right. Another thing that I think really failed the Caridina part of the hobby is social media. There isn't enough social media content on Caridina shrimp out there. You've got a few content creators like Benny Tay who do a great job at it. But then you've got too many content creators that are falling back on that lazy kind of method that people just want to be like they want to have somebody that they can say, well, this guy said you can do it, so I can do it, and I can be lazy and I can be cheap about it, and go about things, and they're producing content for clicks and views instead of the actual health of the shrimp. And when that happens, then people are going to think that that's the best method to do. They do that method, they're not successful, and then they quit afterwards. So we haven't really done enough Caridina videos out there. I do a lot of the genetics and stuff like that, but I could probably produce a better Caridina setup. I could probably do more reviews on Caridina products and substrates and tests and make it to where, this one person's now bought in 4 or 5 different bags of substrate and doesn't have any success. And there's, data and tests and experiments and stuff that we could do and do videos on it. and we just don't have the time. But there's not anybody else out there doing it. So I think the promotion of Caridina shrimp through social media might be able to save and rejuvenate it. Like if some of our content started really taking off and going viral for full format content on Caridina shrimp, not just us though. It could be somebody else. It could be one of Benny Tay's. It could be um, Shrimp Mania, I think is the guy across the pond. I don't watch like any YouTube anymore.
I know.
Um,
That's the thing. YouTube is it's so hard. A lot of the younger kids are just watching shorts or reels or things like that. They're not watching the long format because they just can't sit there. Their attention spans,
So-
even my attention span for um, anything has been really bad because of the phone and video games,
yeah, so
everything.
we'll probably be doing a lot more short format Caridina content videos to try and help it out. But there's still so much work that should be done, but it should be done by more content creators than just us. There's plenty of other YouTubers out there with big platforms that could have done quality Caridina content, and they just didn't.
So let's do a live auction. That would be a good idea for. I don't know if we can do that. Oh yeah, we could do that on our live stream. I don't know why we've never thought of that. But the problem is just like making sure. Maybe after our tour video or something. But our internet is just so terrible that I don't know. Maybe one day that'd be
We
funny.
needed like a heavy duty maximum output router or something to get out to the greenhouse. That would be cool to live stream out there.
I don't know what this is.
We thought about getting a capybara, but they poop way too much to keep in the pool, so
Oh.
decided not to do
Maybe
that
Myra.
one.
Yeah. So we do have friends that have them though. Like it's just that's also a problem is we have a lot of friends that are like we're able to have exotic animals and get different types of animals and it's so hard not to like go, yeah, let me put a capybara in my backyard because like who wouldn't? Like obviously, like I just think they're absolutely adorable. I wish I had an alligator for it to ride on its back. Like I think it's crocodiles actually from where they're at. I'm not really sure, but I know that they ride on that. Well, thank you, Patrick. Sometimes I wish I had a time machine so I can go back and tell my younger self to just like focus on things. I wish I could still do it to this day. Like it's so hard for me to get in the grind because like we get so many different things we got to do and then I'm just like, oh no, I haven't posted videos. Oh, it's the worst, or I just don't have the attention span to sit there and edit videos for 2 hours.
I wish I'd done things differently. I wish I built the backyard first and then the inside of the house. We'd be so much better off, but I would have missed the whole pioneer era of the Caridina shrimp. So it was meant to be.
Yeah, I definitely have that problem with fish. I do have hundreds of fish in the house. Like, and I'm only breeding. I've only bred a couple of them lately. I mean, our guppies breed. They just kind of like, stay true.
I'm so happy
Like,
with the guppies because there's a lot of them.
I know, and I can't believe the newt doesn't eat them. There's so many babies.
There's a bunch of newts in there.
But like, and our Gadaids are breeding, but they're very slow. So I just kind of keep them to keep them for myself. Like I don't want to sell them. Like I just enjoy them.
Don't so we spread them out. We're not going to stock them
the
up.
tequilas, yeah. I don't know. The San Marcos are just my pets. There's plenty of those. But yeah, fish are a problem. I'm having great success with the Amazonia version 2. Wow, I'm surprised. I have so many complaints for that one.
We were talking about Plamsky, and Plamsky like wasted so much money. He bought a bunch of that stuff, and then like within 3 months, he threw it all out.
Don't forget hashtag TGOE to get in the giveaway.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing that here in the next.
Not recommend a crocodile for Myra.
Yeah, I thought about getting a crocodile like 2-3 years ago. It was very close, but we needed a permit.
Yeah,
they're cheap though, like $250.
Yeah,
$250. I held it and everything.
So at one point I was trying to get a monitor too. Like we had a outdoor cage. It was in the greenhouse and it was cool. I was like, I could show some pictures and go through like a timeline. One of these we did on like the shrimp form. That one's fun. That was kind of fun. But it'd be nice to like the greenhouse transformation. But some of it like is lacking pictures. But I had iguanas for a little bit, but I was like, oh, let's get something bigger. And a monitor is what I wanted. But then I heard how nasty their claws are and like they're just dangerous. And we had the kids at the time, and I was like, no, that's not for us. But Myra would probably love a crocodile. She's a crazy, crazy child. Yes, your first video should be setting up shadow panda tank and breeding parameters. Always enjoy your genetics content. Thank you.
If you make a comment on one of our videos and leave that, I will use it as a quote on a video, and I'll do a short format video. So
albino blue topaz,
just a suggestion.
Absolute favorite guppy, but man, they devour the babies up. Oh man, yeah. Actually, I think that's the one that just won the guppy contest the last time we had it. The ones we have right now are Diana Wallsteads that are breeding really well and have a bunch of babies in a tank with newts, which is crazy. They're enjoyable to watch. We also have like black. Oh man,
Black Moscows. We have some red dragons. We have
albino. What were those? Albino. I have sulfurs too. I got a lot of different guppies. I am a connoisseur of guppies. Like when I find guppies, I'm like, and they go for cheap, I'm like, please just get them. I just love them. So do the shrimp like hard water, or is it mostly soft looking at your website now? I have red cherry shrimp doing well, looking at a few different colors.
So it really depends on the variety of shrimp that you're going to keep. Tonight's topic is Caridina shrimp. Caridina shrimp prefer softer water, but you're already keeping cherry shrimp, which do really well in harder water. So cherries are just Neocaridina. You can pick your favorite color Neocaridina and go with that. And they do pretty well.
Yeah, I would say that Neocaridinas don't like softer water. They tend to not do as well, but it depends on how soft we're talking. Like 6 is way too soft.
No, that's contradicting because they breed them overseas in 5 and 6. And then we have to transfer them over. That's why they do so bad, is the stress of converting them over to the harder water over here in the United States. So I always tell people, if you want to use like fluval stratum and aqua soil for neos, do it. Just use 0 GH in the water, so that way it buffers it to low pH. Because most of the shrimp are kept in harder water for a generation or two, the babies aren't going to do that well. But that third generation is going to breed just like as if it was in a Neocaridina tank. The thing about like mass production is the sun outside, warmer temperatures. That's where you get larger growth, faster reproduction, stuff like that.
Just get a Louisiana gator. They're better than a watchdog. Could you imagine having one of those like just out front? That'd be crazy. It'd be pretty cool.
I don't think the mailman would ever come though.
And Kelly said, we're scared of our dog, who's, he's tough when he has to be, but he's a good dog. He's well trained. Kelly said, I want a hedgehog, but not allowed in Georgia. Probably because they could be invasive if they were released in Georgia. That is strange, though. And hedgehogs are pretty cute. I don't know if I'd ever want one, but they are pretty cute.
I can't believe they're not legal in Georgia, but they're legal in Florida.
Yeah.
Huh.
I haven't seen one in Florida in a long time, but our pet stores don't really sell those. They sell chinchillas and ferrets and stuff like that.
They had one at Zanesville.
You would think ferrets would be like a rat in Florida. I feel like ferrets would do so well in Florida if they got out and bred.
I feel like within the last year, the kids have seen one at one of the reptile shows we went to. Hedgehog. Yeah.
I don't know. Fishing Master said, what are your thoughts on the best soil right now? Still Brightwell. I know some people are having good luck with Gilly soil and have been tempted to try it.
The Gilly soil is one of the soils I'm looking forward to most and trying. I thought for sure by now I would be resetting Caridina tubs, and now that the kids are in school and Myra is untamable, so it's either Shelby's working or I'm working, and one of us is always watching the baby now. And it's like once the kids get home from school, it's dinner, it's homework. They have some time to themselves, but pretty much me and Shelby are watching the baby all day now, and have not had a chance to get to reset. That's why the beard's still long. Pretty much the only thing that's really getting like proper maintenance and taken care of is all the tubs and ponds out back, the newts, everything that can take tap water, just because it's so much faster to do the water changes and get water prep and everything like that. But we're working on it. A lot of tanks are scraped. A lot of tanks are looking better than average.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, the beard's really growing on me. I mean, literally, like growing on me. Divide by Zero said, I'm convinced the water hardness is like the final boss in the aquarium hobby. For a long time, I believed the hardness really didn't matter, and I know now that I was wrong there. It matters a lot, especially when it comes to plants. I think is where it matters the most to me. I've seen a lot of people, like generally like 7 and below, do really well with plants. They seem to thrive, but there's some plants that don't do well in softer water, and then there's plants that absolutely can't thrive at all in harder water. But here's the thing. I've seen well water take, which typically is harder. It has a lot more mineral and content in it, but that minerals and content are natural and different than some other city water that's hard. So there's a difference between like, well, natural hard water and city hard water on what mineral content makes
I think
up.
City water has a lot of sodium, and that's what we're picking up on.
And the problem is like those plants will do really well in well water because they want all those natural minerals, but won't do well in someone's city hard water, and they'll just melt. So I've seen a lot of different mixed reviews on that, and it's like everyone has different water to deal with. That's why we usually say when you have a breeder near you or closer to you that has specific shrimp or fish or plants you're looking for, you're more likely to be successful with theirs that they already have thriving in those same water parameters as you. So Kelly asked if you've measured your beard yet.
Oh, no.
I didn't even know that was a thing. And it's funny because at Daytona, Aquashellas, they had lined up like twice in a row that it was like the beard contest. And it's like, Grant finally has a beard we could actually do something with and enter you like quickly into that contest. It'd be so fun. Oh man, but not doing any in Daytona. You need some of my Gold Tiger King Cobra guppies. I just sold 7 pairs. Oh, that's cool. That sounds really cool. We had some really cool from Mississippi Hippie. We had nebulous steel guppies, which who knows if there's a line still of those somewhere in this household. I think there is a couple females. Yeah, that's the problem, is that there's females but no males, and they were so beautiful. They were like, they had pinks, blues, and greens in them. But yeah, I love gold too. I think those are solid color.
So real quick before we do the giveaway, hashtag TGOE. This is your last warning. Make sure you're paying attention to our social medias. We just had a sale for buy one, get one free on red cherries and fire red cherries. That sale is going on through the end of the month. Also, it's buy 10, get 4 free on everything, or buy 5, get 2 free on everything. But then in the next few days, we'll be making a post on black rose culls, on yellow. You guys could just make the orders now and I'll throw in the extras. But yellow culls and black rose culls are going to be the next ponds that we're trying to go through and take out. So all of those will pretty much be buy one get one free also. So I've got some more tubs and stuff that I'll be working out, but none of the other deals are going to be as good as these ones. So the reds, the black rose culls, the yellow culls, those are buy one get one free for the rest of the month. Trying to clear out the greenhouse. I've got 2 tubs pretty much empty, and that red tub, working on it. It's getting lower.
So, guppies are by far like one of the easiest fish and will probably do really well compared to Caridinas. But I would say don't import them. Make sure that you get someone that's breeding guppies already and make sure that they know what they're doing in breeding guppies. Just like Diana Wallstead talks all the time, there is culling in guppies as well. You don't want bent spines. You don't want any malformities or issues in them. So you do have to cull guppies. So you just need to have someone that's actually aware of breeding guppies and making sure that they're a strong line. That means they're feeding them well enough. They're keeping them in a right size aquarium. But I get guppies all the time that are just super easy. I've seen them in just plain old tap water to soft water to hard water, and they do pretty well. So welcome in, Scotty. A little late to the party. How are you doing? Bye, Siri. Where I learned about hardness is with the rare fish things like the Ivan Cara. Don't know that one. And the bimaculatas. The fish will live just fine. The eggs, however, won't hatch at all. Yeah, that definitely can happen. Do you guys ever consider doing stand-up comedy? Do not tell Grant that he could do stand-up comedy.
See, I thought about it. No. I had a routine written out, and I was all for it, and I was going to do it by the end of 2019.
He does have a book.
My resolution was to do a one open mic by the end of the year, and that was the year COVID hit, and I was like, that's my sign not to do it, So I didn't do it. I played paintball instead.
I told him that it would be better if he was on the stage and I'm the one heckling him, that I could be a really good heckler for him. Like, I told him he likes to watch those Kill Tony all the time, and I was like, I think they'd just be more interested in what I had to say if you were on the stage, obviously. No, you could definitely not do comedy. You're not that good. If I don't support him in one thing, it's his comedy.
She's just mad because all of my jokes are very mean, and she doesn't laugh at them. But the kids, I'll get the kids dying all day.
Comedy is subjective, so it really depends. Like, I find myself funny, but I only find myself funny when I'm making fun of Grant. So, only time that I actually think that I got good jokes. So, but
we let you think that though. All right. The kids know
I think that he could. He just has to get better with delivery because he's told me jokes, but he's just like, he hasn't got it down. I think the only thing with comedy to me, the only people that I ever watch are people that actually have good timing and comedy. And Grant won't do it for me. He won't sit there and like talk to me about his comedy, or he is, but he's like distracted by doing something else. And I'm like, you've lost me. I don't think you could do it. But honestly, he probably could. He's good at everything he's put his mind to. So one day I'll get him up on the stage to surprise you. One of these days. I'm definitely going to have to drag him. I've been wanting to buy him comedy tickets. So a couple times Kill Tony has come to Tampa, and I was been so upset because we weren't in town. And I was like, oh, man, I would have took you to that. Or like, I don't remember the other guy's name now, but he's kind of funny. I hate his jokes, but Grant laughs at him.
Crays are doing good. The tank is too big. So I'm not sure if there's more than I think there is in that in the tank or not.
Because they were buried last time, weren't they?
No, I had babies holding on. The shrimp in that tank are doing really, really well, but I have a smaller tank of the blue bronzo ones, and that tank is booming. And there's so many babies all over the place. So
Take my mouse. Just making sure we didn't skip anything.
no, I didn't skip
Okay.
anything. I'm trying to get to the
Grand
I'm trying
cause
to get-
COVID? Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So hashtag TGOE. There was no more warnings. Let's spin it.
Oh, I don't have it sharing.
And somebody asked the website. It's tgoeshrimp.com. I don't know if that's the website you're asking for.
Yeah. The way you said it was so confusing. Look at that. 24 people. Good luck.
You sharing it? Okay. Oh, congratulations.
I wasn't expecting.
He
Why
also
does that
asked if
sound like
we're
me?
selling the blue craze. The blue craze will actually be available on the website in a little bit. I'm waiting for them to grow up. I would say probably the beginning of next month, maybe the end of this month, but I want to give them another week of being able to heavily gut load them.
Thinking you should both do comedy as a duet. I
Well,
think
that's-
I'm only funny in my head.
That's
though.
why I like our talk when we do our 500 aquarium. It's called the Powerhouse Talk. There is a lot of banter back and forth.
Yeah. Are you selling the blue craze? You know, so blue craze make me crazy, okay? I love crayfish, and Grant will attest to this. I constantly ask for different crayfish. We go places, I see a different color, I'm like, get me crayfish. I'm telling you right now, no one wants crayfish. We've bred hundreds of them, and people don't want them, to the point where we just had them for pets for like 10 years because no one was buying them. They breed too much, and they're just so large that people just don't care about them, that they'd rather want shrimp. Let's make sure Colby's still here. Okay. Let's
You
make sure.
literally asked the
Yeah.
question as soon as you spun it.
I'm
so.
sorry. I know. Okay. Why can't... Some nights I'm so good at this, and other nights I'm like, what am I doing? I don't even know how to do this.
And Scotty said my oranges. To be fair, I've sworn by the hornwort, and the oranges don't have hornwort, and the blue tank has hornwort. I didn't think the oranges needed it though,
Oh,
because
were we
there's
talking about those blue?
massive Anubias in that tank, and I always see them hanging out on the Anubias. So I'm like, that's their hornwort. They're good.
Hopefully
But
that link works for
I don't
you.
know.
I don't know if it works. It just shows it as text to me. I'm sorry if that doesn't work. I forgot that we have those little tiny crayfish. Those things are cool. Do we even have enough to start selling those?
Those are the blue bronzo ones I'm talking about.
I think that's what they were asking for, not just blue crayfish.
That's what we were talking about.
Okay, I was talking about something different. I was talking about those
We
big
were all on the same
lobsters.
page.
No, I'm not even in the field at this point.
I think we're all good. We're all caught up. I think that's going to be it for this week. Next week, we will be walking everybody through registration for the shrimp contest. It's one of the best ways to get the hobby out there. The Caridina hobby is dying, but the shrimp contest, I think, is one of the few things that is holding the hobby in there. We got a couple of breeders that are still, keeping shrimp going just for the contest. So that's always great. Yeah, I'll never get rid of all the Caridina shrimp. We joked about it. But
No,
even if
I joked about getting rid of half of them.
Yeah, not going to happen. But we'll, if anything, double the amount of Caridina
Not even
shrimp
half. It wouldn't even be half if I asked
before
for a second
retirement.
row.
So
Yeah, they'll still be here. And I feel like even if we had to get rid of everything and we're losing our home or something, there'd still be like 10 tanks going
what's
with
in
us
your
regardless.
pocket, Grant? My last Caridina colony. See, I can't do stand up. I'm gonna walk away.
Yeah, but who's gonna get that joke other than aquatic people? So we're doing
I know my audience,
stand-up
Shelby.
comedy
All
just
right.
for aquatic shows.
Yeah, clearly.
We should start that, honestly. Stand up. We'll ask George for a 30-minute stand-up comedy spot for the show.
Let's write
That'd be
some
fun.
let's write some jokes first before we ask.
I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for watching.
Later, everyone.